going on, everybody? Welcome to the RBS Cinema Podcast.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
This is Sparta! I'm thinking I'm back.
Why so serious?
Avengers!
Assemble. I'm Batman.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'll be back. You shall not pass!
RBS.
Lovely.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of RBS Cinema. This week's episode, we are talking about Independence Day for the 4th of July episode. And for that, we celebrate our Independence Day. Aside from the real world aspects of what's going on, we're not thinking about any of that stuff, even though the world is, well, not the world, but the U.S.
Which is basically
in
the
turmoil,
world, you know?
right? Well, can't really talk about the world without talking about the U.S.,
The United
us.
States of America.
So, but not talking about any politics, anything like that. With that being said, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, watching, listening, having us in the background, whatever you guys are doing. Really appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below if you guys have a movie suggestion that you guys want us to talk about, whether it be a new, old, your favorite, doesn't matter. Let us know. And be sure to share this around with anybody that would really like hearing discussions about movies in general.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
And also be sure to subscribe and follow the channel on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, and on TikTok, because on those two platforms I post clips of the episodes. So,
Also, he is your host, Devin, and I'm
yes,
Jack.
I was getting to that as well. So, but yes, I'm your host, Devin. With me is Jack on this 4th of July weekend.
Don't want to steal your thunder. You want to be able to say all the things you have to say.
What do you mean?
But
reiterating it?
I thought you forgot. Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying.
No, I was getting to all of those bits.
You're Devin and I'm Jack.
Yeah.
Just in case you forgot.
No, I'm Jack. You're Devin.
How that?
I don't know. So for those of you that are new to the show, basically what we do each week is that we talk about a new movie, and we talk about what it's about, talk about taglines, and then we open up the discussion of our favorite parts about the movie, and then we talk about if it's a rent, buy, or skip by the end of it, as well as suggest to people being a 1 or a 10-star review on IMDb that we will have an open up discussion about, and point out how stupid people are on the internet. So, like us.
And to read all the bad AI-generated reviews on IMDb.
Well, some of them are around the time that the movie comes out, so you can't really call it AI if it comes out in where this one.
Well,
what
if
is
we're
it?
talking about movies that came out recently, or reviews that were written recently, there was that couple times.
Well, yeah,
that we saw an AI-generated review. So.
Yeah, that's true. It was back in 2024. So, but no, this one came out in 96, but there are reviews of 98, so you can't really call them AI generated.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes we get to make fun of funny reviews like that. So
yeah. So without further ado, let's talk about Independence Day with Will Smith. Will Smith. So, bare bones of what the movie is actually about. The aliens are coming, and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. Fighting superior technology, mankind's best weapon is the will to survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
That's pretty good.
So, got director Roland Emmerich. Writers are Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, so writer-director combo. And then just got a few list of people that I wanted to point out. Of course, you got the big people of the cast as being Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonnell, Judd Robert Loggia. Yeah, Robert Loggia. I didn't even realize it was Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
I've only heard about him from Family Guy being Robert Loggia. R as in Robert Loggia.
May I have your name, please?
Robert Loggia.
Can you spell that for me?
Certainly. That's Robert Loggia. R as in Robert Loggia. O as in, oh my God, it's Robert Loggia.
And Randy Quaid is also in this movie. So, got a few of the big players in the game. I do have a bunch of taglines for you here, Jack.
A lot of taglines. This movie has, like, is very quotable, I feel like.
It is. There's a few quotes, and, like, and I love how I was telling you things that were happening in the movie for what was going on, and then you're like, I haven't seen it. So...
I hadn't seen it. I was just like, I wanted to watch. Like, it might be hard to believe, but yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't seen this movie all the way through. I've seen maybe the last 10 minutes of it.
Yeah,
but that was when I came into the living room and my dad was sitting on the couch and watching it.
Which, speaking of, this is a huge dad movie.
This is like one of the most dad movies of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like The Matrix. This one, Face Off, like I don't know who the hell I was gonna say. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Sylvester Stallone movies, like those are all dad movies. Yeah. So, like, it's ridiculous. But I also forgot to say at the top of the show, welcome to another Summer Movie Blockbuster hits. So, and for the months of June, July, and August, we're talking about Summer Movie Blockbusters. At the end of each episode, we're going to spin a wheel to determine what movie we're going to talk about for next week. So stay tuned by the end of the episode, and we are going to spin the wheel and see what movie we're talking about next week. So, without further ado, again, I'm going to talk about taglines. So...
let's rock through them. There's quite a bit of them here.
Yes. We've always believed we weren't alone. On July 4th, we'll wish we were. These extraterrestrials don't want a phone home. They want our home. I feel like it's kind of a spoiler, almost.
But like, okay, the E.T. reference.
Yeah.
That's the, okay.
Well, this is also like a second time that we've referenced E.T. in the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Because remember in War Games, it was all like, oh, it's as good as E.T.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So, or something like that. The day we fight back. So it's for Independence Day.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
The Doomsday Ship. Don't know why that's even a tagline. On the 4th of July, you will have a ringside seat for the ultimate fireworks show. And then this one's my favorite. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, I always love whenever it's a TH sound. I'm like, welcome to Earth.
Earth.
Not Earth. Earth. July 3rd, everywhere. It's like just for the poster.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, this did come out around the 4th of July, so which is the reason why I wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have. Like, was this movie released on July 3rd, 1996?
Maybe.
I mean, that would make sense. You don't want to release a movie on
the 4th of July.
The 4th of July.
Well, I mean, like, you can, like, I mean, like,
things.
Well, like, people
also,
release movies, like, during national holidays, like the 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and it's all, like, especially if that holiday is around the weekend, because Thanksgiving is always around the weekend, right? It's always the last Thursday, right? But the thing is, though, is that they'll usually say, like, oh, this Christmas weekend, or it's like this Christmas.
Yeah. But what I mean is, like, releasing a movie on the 4th of July kind of seems weird to me, because, like, people are going to be out doing things for the 4th of July on that day.
Yeah.
And, like, especially if you want to go see it, like, the night of 4th of July, that's you want to go see the fireworks, you know? You want to go have a picnic, you know?
Yep. Came out on July 3rd, 1996.
Okay,
so there you go.
Sense. Yeah, there we go.
We don't do research around
Question
here.
Question solved.
Earth, take a good look. It could be your last. So,
vague.
Earth with all caps.
Yeah.
Don't make plans for August. It's stupid.
No, I mean,
Because, like, they're here to extinguish all civilization.
Yes.
The question of whether or not we are alone in the universe has been answered. Warning, your next stop may not be there. It's kind of dumb. The only thing they want, or they only want one thing, destruction.
It's true.
Enjoy the Super Bowl. It may be your last. As a Super Bowl promo.
What?
Yeah.
What? Okay. I guess this was a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Back in like
96.
96. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me who was playing in the Super Bowl back in 1996. I wasn't alive back then.
Yeah. I don't know because I don't follow sports. Second to last one. On July 2nd, they arrive. On July 3rd, they strike. On July 4th, we fight back. Which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, that is what happens.
So, on July 2nd, 1996, the aliens came. On July 3rd, 1996, the aliens saw and struck. On Independence Day, 1996, the human race will conquer.
Conquer?
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know what we're conquering, but...
I guess, like, conquering in the sense is that, like, we defeat them, but, like...
Right.
I don't know. They were okay. Nothing too great. I mean,
yeah.
90s taglines are always kind of sort of cheesy, to be honest. Not...
Yeah, pretty much.
Sort of just, like, lines from the movie or just, like, very basic statements.
Yeah. Pretty much for the most part. But... Alright. I'm going to talk about our favorite bits about the movie here. I was reading my notes. First thing I have up, it's not even about like the what's happening of like, oh, the aliens are coming, everybody's freaking out. One of the things that I loved about the movie was that towards the beginning was the cop. He stops in the middle of the road and causes a 7-car pile up.
Yeah. Just like they put up a statistic like when the aliens come, they have like 22,000 fender benders. It's like that's a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 2,200, but like it seemed like they said 22,000 fender benders.
I think it was funny because also like when the cop was walking away from his squad car because he was in disbelief just looking up at the sky at the aliens, and then a freaking like semi comes in or like a big industrial truck comes in.
It's like one of those trucks that like you use to like drop off like bags of cash.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like an armored car
yeah.
and stuff. So I thought that was hilarious because he was like walking away, and then all of a sudden an armored truck just comes in and just smashes into his squad car.
The first thing that I noticed like in this film was like in any alien film ever, right? You have to have like a zoom in or like a scene where it's like you're panning over a facility with a bunch of big radar satellite dishes.
Oh yeah,
right?
100%.
And then there's some guy inside the inside the freaking the facility who's like doing some random activity that's not his job because he's so bored. And then only then when he's like not paying attention to the screen, it starts beeping and flashing or making sounds.
Right.
And then he comes over like, Sarge, you gotta look at this.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, we're all gonna die. We need to do something.
So many movies do that. And I don't know if Independence Day was the first one to do that.
No, I don't think so.
But like it's just a thing where it's just like some putz is like he like this in this one he's playing golf.
Yeah, he's like doing like a mini putt thing, like because they had those putt like sets that you can buy at the store.
Yeah,
which you still can. But I also think that it's funny that like we've gotten so bored of just sitting on the toilet. You can buy a putt thing for your bathroom.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, I want to get good at my putting, so I'm just gonna be taking a shit. I'm gonna work on my putt. But another thing that I really liked was whenever that people leave towns in like crisis, it's always a mass panic.
Yeah, it's
like,
always
especially
like
where it's like
traffic.
Yeah, especially where it's like I'm going to have to keep pulling up the cast, but Bill Pullman as the president, he's like on national television just telling everybody, all right, everybody leave town, don't panic,
and then
like, leave in an orderly fashion.
Smash
it's
cut
just
to
immediately just
like
hysteria is happening, and panic.
Basically a riot is happening.
Yeah, especially where like Jeff Goldblum, he goes to his dad's apartment or his house, and he's all like, he knocks on the door. His dad answers with a shotgun straight to his
Yes,
face.
like-
and he grabs it and he pulls it away from him. He goes like, "Hey, calm down. Like, it's only me." He goes like, "Yeah, well, as soon as the president made that speech of everybody leave town, then the looters started coming out, so I had to protect myself." And so I was just like, yeah, Dad's kind of strapped with the double barrels. So
Yeah, so I also like how Whitmore is like a shitty president. Really, like
Yeah,
his
'cause,
approval
like-
ratings are like way down because
Yeah.
everyone thinks that like he's not like cut out for the job. You know, he used to
Yeah.
be like a fighter pilot. Yeah, and it's
Right.
like so like we just see this guy who is like kind of out on his ass. And like he's like walking around the White House in like a robe basically.
Yeah.
It's like
because I do think that it was rather funny that like which this is kind of like a trope whenever that there's a president and we're focused on the president, that they always say like, "Oh yeah, this isn't like our typical president," or like they basically just talk shit about him.
yeah.
And it's like, I get it. It's a news station, you know, like that's what pulls views. It's like you talk shit about people or whatever. And regardless of who it is, doesn't matter who. But like the other thing too was that they'll talk about him. And my biggest thing with this movie specifically was that like his daughter was in the bed with him, right?
Yeah, that was.
And so like she woke up, but like she was watching the station. She's not turning it on to cartoons.
yeah.
And I'm like, why are you like 6 years old watching this?
What
like-
better question is, why are you sleeping in the same bed as your dad?
Well, I mean, like their mom wasn't there
I
because
guess
she was
but,
in LA. Cause like,
but like it was. I thought it was very strange when he opened up like the like when his wife is calling him from like Los Angeles basically, and she's talking like, "How you doing?" It's like, "Well, I got a cute little brunette in next to me."
and then
it's
the
like,
camera pans down to the
"Hey,
daughter.
yo!"
Yeah,
Put my
I'm just
hands
like-
up after that one.
I'm like, ugh.
That's
kinda gross.
That's a bit weird. But no, he's actually like a really good character, and I like that. We get to have. I like this portrayal of a president of the United States in this
Oh, yeah.
film, because most of the time the president of the United States is just like either a cameo of like, oh, he's like an actual president, like
Yeah.
that like if it's like a historical film, like it's like a president who we only see one side of his face because they didn't want to like find someone who looks like JFK or like Richard
Right.
Nixon, you know?
Well, it's kind of like in one of the previous episodes, Transformers, and it sounded like George Bush, but we didn't see him. We just saw his
Yeah.
socks.
Like
So
and
we
then-
just see him laying in the bed, and that's it. So,
or yeah, like that. Or it is a president, but it's not like a sitting president. But they're only in a couple scenes, and they're just like, "I want this done today," you know?
yeah,
But it's very rare that we get to see somebody like be able to write a character who is the president, who takes up a major role in the film.
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah,
So,
because like especially where later on in the movie, where as a last resort, he decides to nuke the ships.
yeah,
Because of the fact that like he's more worried about the civilians that are still there that haven't been rescued or are still trapped or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's all like, no, we still have a good majority of the population that are still in those cities where those spaceships are. And of course they always go like, well, we should nuke them. And he goes like, no, because I'm more like worried about the civilian population that is there.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's already a devastation point, but we don't want to make it a nuclear waste place if we don't need to do that.
Yeah, like-
so and like where they tested it out and everything for their force field, and as a last resort he goes like, all right, you know what, let's just nuke them.
yeah,
Like as a last resort though.
Yeah.
And like that's how generals are always like portrayed in these movies. It's like, well, we need to nuke them, and it's like,
Well, it wasn't.
No.
Even, it wasn't even the general though. It was
No,
the
it's the
Secretary of Defense.
right.
Which that guy sucks.
Yeah, because later on he gets fired because he's
Yeah,
a
he
piece
does.
of shit.
Yeah.
So, because like,
There's a lot of things that it's like oh my god, really? Like later on in the film, like you know, like he's talking about like, you know, tell them you guys have found that spaceship out in, where was it? What's it called? Area 51. It's like, are you kidding me?
Right.
And it's like, we're going to Area 51. It's like, well, don't calm down, sir. Like he's talking to Julius. It's like,
right.
Calm down. There's nothing as Area 51. It's like, well, sir, that's not entirely correct.
Right.
He's like, what?
It's like,
how are you not briefing the president?
Well,
like, I know they said
plausible deniability, but like it's the thing of it being that
president should know that.
And it was American Horror Story that I was watching, like Stories rather, the spin-off show. And there was an episode or something like that, or like a couple episodes where they were doing alien experimentation.
Yeah.
And so like aliens and humans were coexisting, and I think that they were using human subjects to basically give birth to their people. But all this basically to say is that like every president has known about this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they've known that the aliens were there because like the next president would know about the experiments, what's going on, where they're at, all this bunch of stuff. And like they would always leave them a note of going like, oh, like blah, 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 blah. And so like that's always the thing. And especially for the previous president, like in the real world aspect, like they would always leave like a note of going like, good luck, or like, it's your show now, or whatever that they want to say. But
it just goes to show that like they really just did not trust this guy.
Right.
They didn't tell him about Area 51 when he
right, because like it's also the other thing too is that like ever since the 60s, right? Because that's when it first crash landed.
That was the 50s.
Well, 50s, 60s, whatever.
Yeah, the 50s.
I think it might be the 50s, but like ever since then, has every president since then known about this spaceship, known about the facility in Area 51 and the experiments that they were running, or has it just always been that way since when we first saw them crash land and like we took them and experimented on them? So like that's one of the questions that they don't actually answer, because like I would have actually enjoyed that a little bit more of going like, has everybody known this since we've been doing this? So
see, that's why I would have kind of liked instead of like they did a sequel of Independence Day.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I haven't seen it yet. But like
neither have I, but I've known that it's shit.
They should have done like a prequel of it. Like a sort of like suspenseful, like, oh, we see the ship crash down, and it's the ship that we see in the film, and then they're like figuring ways how to cover it up.
Well, I feel like that could have been more like a mini-series as of like
maybe but
now.
Like, yeah.
So, but like if they actually wanted to expand upon it, because I feel like that a movie wouldn't. It would be boring, but I feel like a miniseries would be a little bit more compelling.
Yeah.
So kind of like a drama or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like a drama thriller, because like we just have them crash land onto Earth and then they experiment on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would have been a pretty good miniseries.
But it could like lead up into like the one guy getting kidnapped by aliens 10 years prior. So
right.
Like, or something like that. So.
Yeah, because like that could have also gone into the series as well, of him just casually being abducted and stuff.
Like the lead up to Independence Day.
Right.
So.
But yeah, and then like something sets off the aliens to go to Earth, or why that they know about going to Earth and stuff. So
there was plenty of potential there.
Yeah, I mean, like especially right now, nobody really cares that much about aliens. Because,
the alien craze is kind of over, honestly.
Yeah,
it's now about like what's the big thing right now? I mean, the big thing right now is superheroes.
Right, that's like the biggest thing is superheroes, sequels, and remakes.
Yeah, but because like for a long time it was aliens. Aliens have been in like a big thing of film in the later half of like the 20th century.
Yeah, but
then like it sort of fizzled out. Sort of fizzled out after like the year 2000. Really, They started moving into like other stuff. Like the alien trope has sort of been done to death, and now it's like kind of just like a remnant of like things to reference now.
Yeah,
more so. Like you don't really see too many people making. I mean, there was that one film with what's her face, who's Lois Lane in like Man of Steel. What's
Amy McAdams.
Or Amy
Adams. Amy Adams. And it was Arrival.
Yeah, Arrival. That like
I saw that. I probably need to give it a rewatch because like I've talked about this on the podcast before, where you go see a movie and you watch it and it's either good or it's bad, but then like you don't rewatch it for a while, but then you rewatch it again and then your your thought on it like changes.
Yeah.
So because like I didn't watch Arrival again just to see how I feel about it now.
I thought it was okay from what I remember.
I thought it wasn't as, I didn't think it was that good. Because like
I think it was
for
just
me
okay.
at the time, I would have said that it was a skip if I was doing the podcast around that time.
It's
But
kind
I
of
was also
forgettable.
yeah. So, but like an interesting concept for sure. But I don't know. It kind of just depends on how I felt about it at the time.
Again, at that point, the alien trope has kind of been done to death.
Yeah.
There's not much more you can do without like standing on the shoulders of giants,
Right.
so to speak. But like, this is this is interesting for me because again, I'll mention this again. It's my first time seeing this film all the way through, and because like I only saw the last 10 minutes of like the guy like flying up to the ship and then exploding.
Yeah.
Didn't know his name at the time.
Yeah. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid. So for me, it was like I thought there was only like one ship. No.
Yeah, I thought it was only one ship too, but no, they're all over the world.
They're literally in every single major city on the planet.
Yeah,
and they're like 15 miles wide.
Right. Plus, it's also a thing of being like, why just the U.S.? Why not the world? Because that's what you want is the world.
Yes, but it was the world.
Right. So. No, that's what I'm saying. But like that's the other thing that I thought was interesting about this movie too. Is like it's only focused on us as America, and not around like the other parts of the world. So you don't see the other parts of the world of how they're dealing with the aliens.
Well, you kind
and
of
stuff
do.
like that. Like towards the end, we do.
Yeah.
Because like
You
at
just
the
see
end
that,
of it, like
the cities are being
when they
destroyed.
actually finally have a plan to go to the mothership and
Take down
inflict
the
this
shields,
virus
yeah.
and stuff like that, so that way they can take out the alien spaceships around the world. That's when we actually see how the world is going to take out them and going like, hey, like what does the U.S. have a plan for? And so like they're relying on us to do it and take care of the problem, and it's all like, you guys also have weapons and planes and soldiers that you could also use as well. But
yeah, but
I don't
it was
know.
also
But
sort of
it's
like
also
there to make America look good.
right.
you
But
know?
it's also the
America's
thing of
always
it.
the good guys.
Right. It's also called Independence Day.
Yeah.
And nobody else celebrates Independence Day except for us, because this
On the
is
4th
when
of
we
July,
were
at least. There's-
free.
Independence
So,
Days are
different.
Several different countries have Independence Days, but just
Yeah.
not on the 4th of July. So,
Yeah.
what was I going to say? But, like, I want to talk about that one scene where they actually start to formulate with, like connect with other countries around the world.
Yeah.
The scene where they're in Iraq. I was hoping you would notice this, but there's an actor who comes on who starts speaking Arabic.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that actor?
Yeah. He was from
Iron Man, the first
1.
movie.
Yeah.
He's the
Well, and amongst others, but like that's the one that's more prominent in my mind. I don't remember off the top of my head. He pops up in my head. I just don't know what movie specifically, but no, I did recognize him. I'm like, oh man, it's this guy.
I was like, wait a minute, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
like, just a little side note there, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
I like how they're like communicating through Morse code. I also like how at one point when after the aliens have like started destroying cities, there's still like
Just there.
there's still like news broadcasts going out. Like the major cities have been destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like if you're like I feel like major news outlets are in major cities. So maybe it was just like no local news, but it just seemed weird to me like there's still people watching TV at this point.
Right.
Like at that point you think that people have gone to like radio or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's another trope is like every time that like an apocalypse happens, it always news reports always come through the radio instead of like any other like outlet because like, you know, the satellites are down and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. A few things, I'll rapid fire these off.
Yeah.
That I liked was that like when Jeff Goldblum and his dad, they're going to Washington to like talk to his ex-wife.
Yes.
Like because like they never said that they were divorced or anything.
Yeah.
His dad basically said like, "Oh, you're still wearing your wedding ring after 4 years of you guys
they were
like
playing
being done."
chess in Brooklyn.
So yeah. But they're on their way to Washington, and is driving in the fast lane, and his dad and Jeff Goldblum goes like, "Come on, hurry up, go faster, go faster! Everybody's like going faster than you." And he goes like, "What's the rush? You think we'll get to Washington and it won't be there?" I'm like, foreshadowing. So because like sometime after that, they actually escape the White House and then it blows up.
They had a really good back and forth in the car too.
Oh yeah, I like the back and forth with some of the characters.
Oh yeah,
like the back and forth with Will Smith and his friend was pretty good. And of course, like Bill Pullman and like all of his representatives are pretty good with the back and forth. So
yeah, the quips in this movie are really good because they're not like followed by like obnoxious like music like how they are in Marvel movies.
Right.
I hate that trope so much. It's like someone says a one-liner and then it gets backed up by music. So like if you remove the music from that clip, it just sounds really awkward.
Right.
Because
they're all just standing around not doing anything. They say a clip
and then they stare into like off camera basically, and then you ship the shot to the person that they're talking to, and they're staring at him or the person that said the thing. But the music is there, so you're distracted by it. But if you remove the music, it just looks really awkward.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. There's a lot of interesting back and forth. Will Smith has a lot to say.
Oh yeah.
I feel like.
Which one of the other things too was like Dennis Quaid's like daughter has her boyfriend, like they're making out in the car, and then he goes like, "Well, you don't want to die a virgin, do you?" And I'm like, "Oof, that's pure pressure and borderline SA." So
it's like, what was I gonna say? I love how that Dennis Quaid's character is from like. Of course, he's a Vietnam pilot.
Right.
You know, he's old enough to be at that point, and he's also like, not only is he a Vietnam pilot, he's like, I got kidnapped by aliens, and everyone, no one takes him seriously.
And then the aliens come, and then they're all like,
I told
what?
You guys. It's like I also love that trope where it's just like
the old guy
that's
like,
crazy and like has a bunch of conspiracy theories and something like that. Yeah. And then when those conspiracy theories happen, he's finally the most sane one.
Oh yeah, well
it's a complete flipping of the script.
Yeah, well it reminds me of Woody Harrelson from 2012. Have you ever seen that?
I have to rewatch 2012.
So he's a conspiracy nut that believes that the world is going to end one day. And so, like, especially back from 2012, where it's like the Mayan calendar ends in 2012, so that means the world's going to end. And so, like, the whole trope. Stuff. And so, like, for him, when the tsunami was coming, he goes like, "I fucking knew it," and then like he dies because of the giant tsunami happens. So, another disaster flick, another dad movie. But kind of
for me, 2012 was kind of forgettable.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Honestly, but one of the things I did like was like the one lady on the news. She goes like, "I hope that they bring back Elvis," because there's a bunch of conspiracy around like Elvis was abducted by aliens, or he actually didn't die, and like he's actually living somewhere else.
Will Smith's girlfriend and her white ass friend goes to party on a rooftop
her friend wants to go to the party on the rooftop
on the rooftop in Los Angeles, and they're just holding up signs saying like, "Take me, please." You know?
It's like "You're welcome here" and whatever. So like, and I feel like it's kind of like the hippie stereotype too. So where it's all like, "Oh yeah, like peace and love and whatever."
Yeah.
So
what else was I gonna say? Like, so when these ships finally start to come in and they charge the weapons to like destroy the city, and one of them was in New York City, we get a shot of the skyline and we see the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned that like again, I hadn't seen this movie before, so like I was kind of
thrown back from it.
No. I was kind of worried that when the ship started charging its beam, that it was going to be over the Twin Towers.
Oh, jeez.
Instead of the Empire State Building, because of course it's over the Empire State Building.
Well, yeah, that's the most historical thing besides the Twin Towers.
No, the Statue of Liberty, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they did it over the Statue of Liberty, just to like.
Well, I mean, like they wanted to cause the most destruction as
guess,
possible.
But it would have been cool if they did it over the Statue of Liberty as well.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just like, oh man, America's like dying basically.
Right. Well, I mean,
So-
like, you do see that the Statue of Liberty was
It
taken
is in
out.
it is
but
in rubble, but
Yeah.
like,
You
I get
bastards!
it.
You blew it up.
you maniac. I haven't seen the original Planet of the Apes,
Same.
so
But yeah, I did love the fact that like all of the people were wanting to go up to the aliens, but then they get blown up.
Yeah, they get-
they're like,
they get-
"Oh, it's so beautiful,"
they get
and then they
absolutely
get
blasted.
devastated.
And
And
it's
then, like on top of that, the all the historical monuments get blown up too.
like the Capitol building, and you got like
Of course, the White House itself.
Yeah.
You got the Empire State Building. You've got I don't know what building it is in L.A., but
I don't know either. I don't know too much about the buildings in LA.
yeah.
I like how the Sydney Opera House is still intact.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of missed the opportunity to like be able to delete that. And it's like you got to really cover the. I was surprised they didn't show the Eiffel Tower getting blown up, but I guess they're just showing like stuff in America, like oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
They're showing off like the Capitol building, and they're showing off like the Empire State Building, all the big like American monuments, because this is a very American film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
we
That's
were talking
and like I
about.
said, like that's the reason why that they're not showcasing the other monuments around the world. It's just the U.S.
Yeah,
And again, it's supposed to be more heavy about like
like
America. Hell yeah,
like Moscow dies off screen.
Yeah.
and so it's like,
right. America.
I like how
fuck
also
yeah.
Moscow is the first city to be destroyed.
Yeah. Right.
It's like
Ew.
yeah. So
But yeah, I loved. You've seen Austin Powers, right?
no, I've never seen Austin.
I was gonna make this bit about the monument. So in the movie Austin Powers, okay, Dr. Evil
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
is basically going up to the U.S. military, and he goes like, "I want $1 billion, otherwise the White House is going to get destroyed."
Yeah.
And so he uses a clip from the Independence Day of the aliens destroying the monument. And so they're like, get down. And so he's back on screen and he's laughing. And so they're like, are we still here? And he goes like, yeah. And so one of the advisors comes over to the general and goes like, that was just a clip from the movie Independence Day.
Fire the laser!
And so like, I just thought that was hilarious. That they reused that clip. But the other thing too is that when they exploded all the monuments, they used miniatures.
yeah.
to
I could.
do
Yeah,
that
you
shot,
could definitely
so.
tell because it was all in like slow motion. Because like they wouldn't have been able to replicate that using like actual effects.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was very common back in the day when you
Yeah,
wanted to be able to,
using
like, show,
miniatures.
like-
Well, it was like when we talked about Terminator.
Yeah.
They used a miniature for the truck explosion.
yeah, right.
So
So, what was I gonna say? One of my favorite parts about this film was like the guy who helps out Jeff Goldblum, his assistant, with the smoker voice.
oh yeah,
Like he was so funny. He's like, I gotta call my brother.
yeah,
I gotta call my mom. It's like I hope that like I was kind of hoping that when he was in his car when like New York got destroyed and he saw like the big fireball coming his way.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted him to say like, oh my god, I gotta call my sister.
right.
His voice was
It's
great.
like, well, I'm not making it to my
like,
mother's.
He's hiding underneath the desk. Also,
yeah,
like,
he's on the phone with his mom, hiding under the desk, which is great. Because even Jeff Goldblum tells him like, oh, like tell your mom to get out of town, and so he goes like, Ma, you gotta pack your stuff. You gotta go to your sister's.
I go to your sisters. Why am I telling my mom to go to my sisters?
Yeah, he goes like, why am I telling my mom to go to Atlanta right now?
I like that guy.
Yeah, but
he was
also
very funny.
like this is also another trope in these kinds of movies too. It's all like, okay, we have to have these group of characters meet up at a certain
together
point,
into one, like,
but
one
we have
location.
to establish them in each scene.
Right.
So it's all like, especially
kind
where
of-
it's like Will Smith, he is fighting the giant ship, and then they send out the little ships to go after them.
Yeah.
And then he's through the Grand Canyon, and like he's ducking and weaving through all of it, and then like he actually gets the alien and has him crash his ship. And when he falls, I was like, his legs would have broke right there, because that was such a big impact.
Well, he had a parachute, right?
Well, yeah, but his legs would have still, like, he still wouldn't have been able to walk that far. Because, like, maybe his legs wouldn't have snapped, but he definitely would have been injured for sure.
Characters definitely have a lot of plot armor in this, like,
yeah.
Like, Will Smith's girlfriend and his, like, stepson and the dog.
Yeah.
They all survive.
Right.
I was worried that dog was going to die.
I know. I was like, not the dog.
Yeah,
Get the dog.
Yeah. So they're all alive somehow. The first lady is alive. She survived the
She was in a helicopter
crash, and she's the only survivor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she doesn't survive, but
Right.
you know, she dies on screen.
Yeah, but like I loved how the whole time that Will Smith, he's all like, yeah, that's right, I fucking took you out.
Yeah, he's popping off.
You know, yeah, and then like he gets up on the ship and he goes like, opens up the ship, and then the alien comes out and he instantly just punches it and he goes like, welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
So,
Welcome to Earth.
like, I was like, that's it. That's this is peak cinema.
Welcome
Punches
to-
alien. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. I'm Will Smith.
Yeah.
I'm
So
the Fresh Prince.
and I'm all like, cool. And
That was cool.
Yeah, and then he's dragging the alien with his parachute
Through Death Valley.
Yeah, and then he's all like, talking about how like, oh, I could have been at a barbecue. and
so
everything.
mad. He's
Yeah,
so
and like he
pissed.
starts kicking it a few times, and he goes like, "Fuck you." He goes like, "Here I am in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and I'm dragging your sorry ass with your dreads,
With your
dragging
long-ass
out of
dreadlocks."
me, out of my parachute right now." And he starts kicking the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's funny.
What was I gonna say? I meant to talk about this. Like when we first see Will Smith, it's not for a while that we see Will Smith in the first in the.
Yeah, I think it's like 25, 30 minutes into the movie.
like for who many people assume is like the main character of this film. Who would you say is the main character?
Bill Pullman.
Yeah, I'd say the president is the main character.
Yeah, because we're first introduced to him as the president. So
He's 100%.
and he's like consistent throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just like, they are kind of sort of side characters because like they only pop in when they need to.
The only
So-
person that I knew was in this film definitively was Will Smith.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Jeff Goldblum was in this film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because again, whenever I see it, I want to talk about a movie on the podcast. I usually try to go in completely blind if I haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. So I did not know he was in this film.
Yeah.
But like I'm really glad that they made Bill Pullman the
Main character.
President Whitmore the main character, because having it be Will Smith again would have been like, oh, I've seen this a million times. Like,
Right. Oh, it's another Will Smith joint. Like,
yeah, like
here he comes with his quippy one-liners. and
Hancock and iRobot and
yeah.
stuff like.
Well, of course, those were like way after this, but like at the
Yeah.
time, it was like, well, I was gonna say Will Smith, Fresh Prince,
Yeah.
and Men in Black. So,
Yeah, Men in
which is
Black was
another alien movie that he was in. So,
we are actually going to talk about Men in Black potentially. It's on the wheel, right?
yeah, it's on the wheel. So we got another Will Smith joint,
But
alien joint. So.
Anyway, Will Smith, the first time we see him, he's waking up because like they're just laying in bed, and then he gets up and
and it's
also,
like an earthquake.
He thinks it's like an earthquake. It's like, oh, it's not even a 4.0. It's like, just
go back to
bed,
sleep.
'cause they're all in Los Angeles. And then he gets up a second time, and it's like, honey, the neighbors are moving out.
Yeah, because he needs to get up and take a piss, and then he goes like,
they
"Yeah, they're
walk
finally
out-
moving out over."
They walk
over an
outside,
earthquake.
and it like he's looking around at everybody.
Well, he looks at the paper, and everybody else is looking up, and like they're all freaking out.
No. Like even after he looks from the paper, it takes him a second to
Oh,
look
yeah,
at
I
the
know.
giant ship.
Yeah.
And then
No, that's what
then
I mean.
his girlfriend comes out, and it's the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
how did you not notice that when
A
you
giant
first stepped
spaceship?
out of the door? You know.
Yeah, it's like the first thing that you see is outside, and given that your view is literally the, I'd probably they're in L.A., so it's like the Los Angeles skyline.
Yeah.
So
What else is it like? The kid, like Will Smith's son, is like tough as nails.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like.
also he was in another movie.
Yeah.
I think he was in The Fresh Prince as well, but I think
He might have been actually.
I think he might have been in Major Pain. I could be wrong, but it might have been a different no, it was a different kid.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to keep track of like child actors, you know. 'cause,
right,
like,
especially around the 90s, because then it's like they're pretty much they try to be in everything.
Yeah.
So like
'cause they had to
you
be.
recognize them, but you're like, what do I recognize this like kid or person from,
I'll have to
especially
look
around
it
the
up later.
90s. So, but one of the things I did like was like the science guy when
Yes.
they finally go down to Area 51. So of how he just goes like, yeah, they don't let us out much, and he goes like, oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and then it's like, this is so cool. Isn't it so cool, guys? And it's like, people were dying, man.
yeah.
It's like,
He goes
yeah.
like, basically, cool is not the word that I would use to describe this current situation.
Yeah.
It's not cool, but it's just like whatever word that they used. But like, and then promptly after that was like the alien autopsy scene after the huge convoy with Dennis Quaid and everybody that's in the RVs through
'Cause
no
they pick
man's
up Will
land.
Smith, and like Will Smith arrives and the gay's like,
Yeah,
hey,
he goes like,
you guys
oh,
gotta turn
like,
around.
I
This is a
can't.
restricted area. It's
Well, he goes like, I can't let you in because you don't have clearance. And he goes
like,
like,
you want to see my clearance?
yeah, and he goes like, hold on, come here. Do you want to see my clearance? He goes like, bam. He goes like, that's my clearance. And he goes like, wow, all right, let him through, let him through.
He's like, get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to see the alien autopsy scene.
Yeah, because like I thought that was actually pretty cool that the initial alien, because I thought that the initial alien that he punches was like the actual alien, but then
No,
they
it's just a
actually
suit.
like cut open the suit and then you actually see the alien
The
inside of
smaller
it.
thing.
So I'm like, that was actually pretty cool.
Every
to
alien
see.
design has to be gross, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it always has to be slimy and gook and goo.
If you're not
and-
making your aliens look disgusting, then you're not designing them correctly, I feel like.
right.
You can't have them look too humid, I feel like.
Yeah,
Otherwise you just get into weird like romantic stuff,
you're right.
I feel like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah,
like you can't make them look too humanoid, I mean.
right. I was in here watching the movie last night, and I was like halfway through it. I was telling my wife about something. It was like late at night. It was like around midnight, and she had her sister over, and so that way that they could watch this. Because one of the members from BTS, like they're all back, right? All of the members of BTS are back from the military. And so I think that like one of the members was going to do a live stream concert last night or like earlier this morning as the day of recording, which was at 5 a.m. And so she goes like, are you going to finish it in there? I was like, yeah, I plan to finish the rest of the movie in the bedroom. And she goes like, okay, well, then I should probably like make up the couch for my sister. And I was all like, why? She goes like, because she's going to stay here and we're going to watch the live stream tomorrow morning at 5. I was like, oh, well, I wasn't aware that she was staying here because like you didn't tell me. And she goes like, well, and so like she apologized for like not relaying that information to me.
Yeah.
And I was all like, okay, well then I just came in here, I turned everything off, and then I went to the other my actual bedroom, so watch the rest of the movie. So, but like, all of this to say was that like the president's speech of like we celebrate Independence Day, like that speech goes so hard.
It does,
and
go
it
really
is
hard.
definitely like in the top list of
Like monologues. I
quote
feel like.
monologues that get you so hyped up, because like even by the end of it I got super hyped and I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go get him, which I did want to actually like quote, not all of it, just like a good chunk of it.
Before you do that, like when I heard it, I was like, I couldn't believe that I was hearing it. Because like, wait, it's from this film?
Right.
I thought it was from like something way older, or like something like from like a play or something. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that it was like, I thought it was like, it's kind of Shakespearean, honestly.
Right.
But like, which is a bit pretentious thing to say, but it is a really good speech.
Yeah.
So when I was hearing it, I was like, wait a minute, but oh, it's from this film? Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Because like, we will not go quietly into that good night. Is like, I thought it was always from like some other like war film.
Right.
Probably, I thought it was like a quote from like World War II or something like that. But no,
Right.
it was from Independence Day. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's interesting.
So, but yeah, just to do this off the bat, because I feel like not doing it is kind of injustice
Yeah, you got
to the movie.
talk about it.
So, which like I said, I won't do all of it, but I'll do most of it. It's we can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July and we will once again be fighting for our freedom, not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We are fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as the American holiday, but as the day the world declared in one voice. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day.
Where?
Going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
And like that line went so hard. And also, you probably haven't seen this, but there's a YouTube channel called Nerdist, and they talk about like a bunch of like nerd stuff on there.
I think I've heard of that.
So they did an episode like forever ago, whereas like they got as a promotional thing for Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. They got Sean Schemmel, Christopher Sabat, and the guy that voices Frieza to do like just random movie quotes as their characters. So Sean Schemmel as King Kai read this quote, which was hilarious.
I have to see that.
So if you want, I can pull it up.
Can I see
and then
that
we
real
can,
quick?
we
Actually,
can, and I can edit it out.
Yeah,
so.
I need to see this.
We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Woo-hoo!
So we just got done watching the Sean Schemmel as King Kai doing the quote from the movie, and so like I'll post like a short clip of it right now. So and it's great. I love it. And like I was like, oh my god, once I saw that video I was like, oh my god, this is the best video that I've seen. And that's the closest thing that we'll ever get to like a Dragon Ball Z abridged from the official like voice actors from the series. So it's great. But one of the things I also liked was that when Will Smith was flying the spaceship, he goes like, I gotta get me one of these because I told you about that yesterday too. And he goes like, I haven't watched that part yet. I didn't realize when it fell into the movie.
It's like at the very end, man.
Yeah, it's like at the very end of when they get on the alien spaceship that crash landed in the 50s, because it's still running and everything. And so like their plan is to Jeff Goldblum finds a way to life finds a way where he is going to take a virus and upload it into their system on the mothership
because
to deactivate their.
Don't be on this cold concrete floor. You're gonna catch a cold.
Yeah,
it's like,
and
what?
he gets
say
like,
again?
and
don't say on this concrete floor you're gonna catch a cold.
Yeah,
say that again.
So
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and he thinks of a virus to implant onto the alien spaceship to deactivate their shields, and then that way that they can take them all out. Because when they were in Area 51, or I guess that they still are throughout this whole rest of this movie, where they said that the science guy, he was like talking about how like their anatomy is similar to ours. They adapt to the heat and cold like we do,
and they breathe oxygen.
And they breathe oxygen just like we do and stuff like that. So like that's the reason why that they want to destroy the Earth and inhabit it. And so Jeff Goldblum was like, we gotta smash up the world. We gotta fuck up the ozone layer so that way they can't actually take it and whatever.
Yeah, that kind of went hard a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
so and
I'm
like,
that kind of hit close
damn.
to home. It's like,
yeah, it's like damn. But he so he finds a way to like get this virus up to the mothership so they can defeat the aliens.
Yeah, computer code.
So,
you know how computers work.
Right. And especially alien technology, you know?
Uploading a man-made, human-made, like, computer code into alien technology.
Especially
that works, right?
where the scientist, he said, like, we don't know how their technology works. But yet Jeff Goldblum can just upload the virus onto their computer system.
It's all through the signal, man. All through the signal.
Whatever.
Before we talk about, like, near the end, like, I also want to talk about, like, we missed a part in like the autopsy or the dissection of the alien where like the alien breaks out and then like kills all the scientists and then like wraps like his like tentacles around like the scientist's like throat and just like release me.
Yeah. And especially where Bill
No
Pullman,
peace.
he was like, all right, well, we want to have diplomacy
Like
with
we
each other.
can figure out a way how to
So-
coexist. Like,
And then he
what
goes
do
like,
you want
no
from
peace, only death.
Die.
Yeah. And then I love that he starts like getting the headaches because they're starting to talk to him
Reminded me
telepathically.
a little bit of like
And
Akira.
yeah,
Leave me alone.
leave me alone.
Leave me alone!
And then it's like, Major, is this
Yeah.
glass bulletproof?
He goes like, no, and they all just like
Like,
bring up their guns
Why
and
didn't
just
they
start
just
shooting the
shoot
shit
him
out of him.
immediately?
Well, because they wanted to know what the alien wanted
I guess,
and
but,
stuff.
like,
Because especially for Bill Pullman as the president, he goes like, well, I want to find out what they want. So, because like that's what anybody, like I saw Mars Attacks, and that's what they wanted too. Was like, the Martians touch down, and then they talk to the president or the general, and they go like, well, we want to have peace. He goes, okay. And so then the Martians just basically fuck everything up because they don't want peace. They just want to see destruction. They think it's funny. So, because like not once but twice they try to make peace. They're like, well, maybe it was just a mistranslation the first time. So they start working on a translation device, and then they're like, all right, let's see if this works. So then they come back and everything, and then so like then they just like kill a bunch of people, and it was funny. Which was funny on top of that because like the studio didn't want, because that's another I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Tim Burton made it. And the studio went to Tim Burton and they go like, well, you can't kill Jack Nicholson on the movie. So because like he's the president, right?
You can't kill the president.
And so they're like, well, you can't kill the president, and it being Jack Nicholson, you can't kill him either. And he goes like, okay. Well, it was mostly that you can't kill Jack Nicholson is what they didn't want. And so like he ended up, spoiler alert, he ended up killing the president. But Jack Nicholson plays as another character, so he goes like, technically I didn't kill Jack Nicholson.
Technically,
So
I can't kill him. It's like, I like how like everybody in the cabinet like is like dead. Like they killed the vice president and everybody. Like that poor second helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
they're like, okay, like,
why did it take them so long to take off? Like,
right. And it's all like, yeah, you should have just gone right away. Like
when they
I don't know.
evacuated the White House. I mean,
Yeah, because like they evacuated, of course, the president, everybody that was like close to him, and then the rest of the staff got into the second helicopter.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did think that the whole sequence of Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith going up to the spaceship, and them, especially where it's like Will Smith's dream is to be in NASA.
Yeah,
astronaut.
he was rejected from NASA.
Yeah. And so once he gets
Just
up to
before.
space, he goes like, "Oh, so this is what it is. This is what it feels like."
Yeah, I've always wanted to be up here.
Yeah, and so when they get into the spaceship, and then they, the ship director, the alien ship director, like basically brings up the ship.
Yeah.
Will Smith's all like, "All right, like I'm freaking out because like they're gonna see us," and he goes like,
It's
"Well,
so stupid.
Yeah, and he goes like, "Well, you know what? This place also has a shield, so
It
there you
says
go."
Windows. So
Yeah, and so they aren't able to see both of them in the spaceship, and they don't know what they're going to be able to do because they upload the virus, but I can't remember what happened specifically because they upload the virus and everything goes down. And
they can't disengage from the thing because they were just
they were going to set off the
and
nuke and then they were going
locked.
to leave, but they were locked in place by the machine.
They're worried that they're gonna get found out, so they get down and then.
Well, they because Will Smith's thing is that after each mission he has a cigar.
Yeah, he has
with his friend.
with his wingman.
Yeah, and so that was always their thing. And once he actually takes out the alien ship, he has his cigar to celebrate. And him and Jeff Goldblum, they're like, well, we can't disengage. We have to drop the nuke. Like, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So they start smoking the cigar. Then they're like, well, you know what? This isn't the exact mission, but we still accomplished what we needed to do. So then they open up the doors
And
on
they're
the
like,
windows. They're like, hey how's it
everybody.
going? They're like, yep, you see us.
Have a
Like,
good night.
Yep. And then they shoot off the nuke.
And then, but like
And
also
then they
like
managed to actually get it dislodged.
Jeff Goldblum's character like makes a virus and like also has time to animate like a skull and crossbones logo laughing.
Yeah.
And like really it like comes up on the aliens monitors and it's
Right.
like that would be kind of crazy for like you're like invade like it's like if like an ant basically like came up and like
started laughing at you.
Yeah.
But even before this, it was like the president, he gets into the fighter jet and they're going to take out the spaceship over Washington.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. And so like because like at first they fire one missile at it, doesn't work. And so everybody starts pulling off. Bill Pullman goes like, you know what? I want to try this
I'll do
again.
a second one.
And so he releases it and it hits and he goes like, oh fuck, here we go. So then they all start like shooting at it and whatever and taking out other alien spaceships, and they actually are, and one of the guys in Area 51 goes like, yeah, like, you know, whatever you guys are doing with the missiles isn't affecting them at all, so we have to strike at somewhere. So then they go like, okay, well, if it's going to like open up the bottom portion of it for the laser, that's where we hit.
Yeah.
And so Bill Pullman has one missile and it is blocked by one of the doors from the side, and Dennis Quaid goes like, don't worry sir, I got plenty of ammo, like let's get this sucker, and comes up.
Plenty of ammo. He's got one missile.
Yeah, he's got one missile left, but it's locked
It's
in
jammed,
there.
yeah.
It's jammed, and he goes like, hey, tell my kids I love them. And especially where it's like the biggest thing that I love about his character, he just goes like, hello boys, I'm back.
No, he has two one-liners.
Oh yeah,
he has like it's like,
oh yeah, I have it written down. He goes like, in the great words of my generation, up yours,
up yours.
And then he's going up
into the blue thing. It's like,
up into like the laser beam, and he goes like, hello boys, I'm back. And then
it's
like explodes.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
I have to wonder whether or not they wanted to do one or the other, but then Dennis Quaid just did them both really, really well.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's just have both of them in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give him two one-liners, because either of them could have worked on their own.
Oh, yeah.
But he gets two of them.
Yeah, it's like I loved how throughout the movie he's basically like drunk.
Yeah.
And when they're going to start getting fighter pilots for them to actually fight the war, where one of the guys gets on top of the truck and goes like, hey, I need anybody that can fly a plane, whatever. And he goes like, I can fly. I've fought in Vietnam as a pilot. And he's just fucking hammered still.
No,
and like his son comes over with a cup of coffee, and he goes like, keep him coming. So that way he could sober up. And when it's finally go time, he shaves his beard.
And it's
and
like,
I'm like, dude,
man,
that's
the one
awesome.
time I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny, because the first time we see Dennis Quaid is like...
he's all disheveled, he's drunk, and like
he's flying a prop plane with a crop duster.
Yeah,
He's doing
he
the
does
wrong
the
field.
wrong field. His son comes up and he goes like, no, you have to do his field, which is clear across town. And he goes like, oh, shit.
Just pulls out a flask and just starts drinking.
Yeah.
And it's like...
That I think is hilarious. But yeah, throughout the whole time he's like drinking. Actually, he didn't have a flask. He had like a small bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he had a flask in the beginning, I think.
No.
Oh, really?
No, that was his first introduction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. His first introduction.
No, he didn't have a flask.
Really?
When he jumps out of the plane, and there's a like little Mexican family that's speaking in Spanish, like he takes a swig out of the bottle. He doesn't have a flask.
All right.
So, but yeah, and then after the explosion happens, or before the explosion happens, they're being chased by the three like spaceships.
Yeah.
To get out of the mothership, and Jeff Goldblum does his quote from Jurassic Park, going like, "Must go faster, must go faster, must go faster." So I was all like, "All right, like that's a subtle nod to Jurassic Park, because like that's what people would recognize him from, is Jurassic Park."
Yeah.
Because I think that came out a couple years prior.
Did you not see like
or a year prior?
When they first get into the shift and Jeff Goldblum's logging into his computer, it goes, "Hello, Dave."
Yeah. From 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah, because his character's name is David, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
he goes like, "Hello, David."
"Hello, David." It's like,
yeah, I thought that was actually a pretty cool subtle nod to another space movie.
That's so funny that
So-
like this movie gets referenced so much, and there's references in this movie.
Yeah,
Like I can't
like
wait
Welcome
to
to
get
Earth.
no.
Welcome to Earth.
It's also Welcome to Earth, and it's like I can't wait to just get up there and wail on ET, sir.
Yeah,
And it's like
Right.
yeah,
but
very into pop culture at the time. This film.
yep, they take out the mothership. They take out the rest of the spaceships around the world, and they all celebrate. And that's the end of Independence Day.
And Will Smith gets married.
Yep, Will Smith gets married to his
Stripper girlfriend.
stripper girlfriend. So
Independence Day. Woo.
Independence Day is over. So now is the point of the show, like I mentioned at the top, where we talk about it being a rent, buy, or skip. Of course, by now you guys know what it is. For those of you that don't, rent is just an occasional watch. Buy is like, hey, I love this movie so much, I'm going to watch it all the time. I'm going to put it up on my shelf. Or skip is just don't even waste your time. So since you have never seen this, I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay, it's a buy.
A buy? Okay.
Yeah, this movie seems very timeless.
Yeah.
There are some dated things in here, like you could tell that it's from the '90s.
Oh, yeah.
But like even like
Just by looking at Will Smith, you're like, okay, that's it
well,
from the 90s.
I mean, not just that, but like I'm not even talking about the effects or like how the movie looks. It could pass for a movie that you released like today.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like it's very again it's very timeless, but like it's very exciting, and it's an example of like it's the last kind of hurrah of like good alien movies that aside from like Alien, and stuff like that. But like that's more of like horror
Right.
than anything. But like
It's more like the
this is
first
like a
one
good-
is more like a suspenseful drama. The second one is more like an action horror
yeah
element.
But this is like like the quintessential like doomsday disaster movie.
Oh yeah,
Basically,
because
And-
like you can chalk it up to being a disaster movie because aliens do go along with disaster as
Yes.
well. So, but
it's a very very important part of like '90s culture.
Yeah.
Is Independence Day, and I think it still holds up.
oh yeah, yeah. Even while I was watching it last night, I was like, damn, this actually still hits.
Yeah, so I think it's a buy. I think like it's definitely something that you should have on your shelf as like a good like aliens invade the world
Yeah.
movie, as well as like I feel like all the characters did a really good job. All the actors and actresses, did a really good job of like playing their roles, and like it feels very, very real.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is it kind of made me a little bit worried. Like, oh, this is kind of what needs to happen if like the world wants to become like united.
Unified.
Is
yeah.
like an alien invasion will be the only thing that make us like stop turning on each other. You
Right.
know? Got kind of deep there a little bit, like
Oh, yeah.
halfway through the movie for me, to be honest. But I think it's a buy.
Okay. For me, I say that this is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And like it's long, but it also doesn't feel like that it's long.
Because you're invested the whole time.
Right.
There's not really
like
a lot of,
you're
like,
wanting
boring,
to see the payoff. Like there's
boring-
not really any lull to the movie. It's just a bunch of people getting together, figuring out what they need to do, and it's just going step by step of what they need to do and stuff. And like even with what you said, like it's a good disaster movie, it's a good alien movie, so it's like you can put them in either category and it still works.
Yeah.
And like the acting's great, everybody pulls it off, like really good special effects for the time, being 96.
Yeah.
I think this is when everything starts to actually pop off, is like in the 90s.
Yeah,
is
like
with
the
the
late
special
90s,
effects.
yeah.
With the special effects, because like you have Jurassic Park, you have this, you have like a bunch of other movies that really pull off like the spectacle of special effects.
Yeah.
So especially with the alien wasn't CGI.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was
some of it was
it was just
CGI,
costuming
but like it
and
was just
practical
costuming and
effects.
practical effects. So that's what I really like about late 90s movies is the practical effects.
Yeah.
Even with the thing that I talked about with Sam early on in the podcast was that we really appreciate practical effects versus special effects,
Yes.
like CGI effects. So But yeah, for me, I'd say that it's also a buy.
Fuck yeah!
So I was originally going to give it a rent, but after I watched it, I was like, you know what? This is actually a solid movie. This is
It's a
actually
very
a buy.
solid movie.
So,
I'd watch this again, honestly.
oh yeah, 100%. Like, and there's a reason why that they always play this, or like people watch this around the 4th of July too. So, but yeah, no, I'd say that it's a buy for sure. Just because
it
of
would have
those
been
reasons.
a tragedy if this movie was even just a little bit more forgettable,
Right.
given that its name is like the name of a holiday.
Right.
Because think about all the like if you have a movie or a TV show or anything that's based off of a real life thing that makes people remind you of the movie or the real thing,
Yeah.
like vice versa, then it better be good.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just
It has
think
to be
about,
enjoyable. It has to be rewatchable.
like Halloween,
Yeah.
you know, like a movie like that, like
Right. Or like Nightmare on Elm Street or
right.
Chucky,
But
whatever.
like if you're right, like if someone did like a rom-com about Valentine's Day, right?
Which they did.
It better, well, they I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
But like it better be good, you know.
Right.
And like like even like Christmas movies need to make it so that when that time comes around that you want to watch that film.
Oh yeah.
Right? And this definitely does that, despite it not being having a lot of the things that are present in like normal 4th of July Day things. Like there's fireworks and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
all the debris crashing down to Earth at the very end of the movie, because he's like, hey, I promised you some fireworks, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of cool.
Right.
So I'm just glad that it did live up to like its namesake of Independence Day, and
Yeah.
it's something you want to watch because like, oh, it's a really good movie, you know.
Right. But anything else
No,
on Independence Day?
I'm good.
Okay. So now is the point of the show where we're going to talk about Suggestive People. Since we both say that's a buy, we won't really worry about it being the 10-star review.
Yeah.
So instead, we're going to listen to some idiots blast their freaking mouth hole out on online. So got one 10-star review. I watched the movie and I just couldn't believe it. He's like on Ripley's Believe It or Not. I watched the movie and I just couldn't believe it. How could anybody like this film? Acting was lousy, screenplay was pathetic, and directing was weak. This film is another piece of American patriotism. It praises America and its people above all. Rest is nothing, or at least indifferent. I just couldn't help laughing when the President of the United States, the leader of the world, said, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day." Geez, what a junk.
You could make that argument that it's a little bit too American centric.
Yeah, because that's what I said too. Was like it's focused more on America, but it is called Independence Day though.
And he clarified
So-
that like, well, it's Independence Day because we're independent or declaring independence from aliens,
Right.
and everybody.
That was what the whole speech was like,
Yeah.
setting aside our differences, we are celebrating not just America's freedom, now we are celebrating the world's freedom. So from that point on, 4th of July is not just about America's freedom, now it is about the world's freedom.
I feel like if this movie was made like after like post 9/11 or even like in the past 10 years,
Yeah.
then they would have like screwed up the writing a lot more, like in like the story of like they would have made it more about America as a whole,
Yeah.
rather than like the whole world. And then that would have been a solid argument. It's not really what happened in this film, but I can understand why people would think that. But it doesn't ruin the whole film.
Right.
It's a little American centric, but like I disagree with everything else they had to say.
Yeah.
It's a 1-star
Pretty
review on
much.
IMDb. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. There was another one, but I was just like, all right, that one
Yeah.
doesn't really like get my goat enough.
Right.
So, but that's it for Independence Day overall. Now we will spin the wheel to see what we're going to talk about for next week. So, go ahead and spin the wheel, and we'll see what we're talking about. And watch it be... yes, it's John Wick Chapter 3. After it blue balling us for like the last 2 times.
Finally get to talk about John Wick 3, says Devin.
Yes.
Finally.
So, I'm really excited about that because I have been waiting to freaking Sorry, I'm also trying to stop recording this. I never know how to freaking do it. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I'm super excited about it because I've been wanting to talk about the rest of the John Wick movies, but now with the third one being in the works for next week, that'll actually be a possibility.
And so how many movies do we have left on the wheel?
So after John Wick, we have 7.
7 films?
No. Yeah, 7 films. Yeah. Because we have Airplane still, Inglourious Bastards, Sonic, Men in Black, Mission Impossible Fallout, Tomb Raider, and Hobbs and Shaw. No, I take it back. That's 6. 3. No, that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. So for some reason, my math was wrong. So, but yeah, so join us for next week where we talk about John Wick Chapter 3, and then sometime we'll talk about the 4th film.
Yeah.
So, because of course we might as well round it out. Maybe by the time that Ballerina comes out on DVD or something, we'll talk about John Wick Chapter 4, and then we'll talk about Ballerina.
Sure.
So, but with that being said, thank you all, everybody, so much again for tuning in, watching, listening, however you guys are doing it. And again, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to share this with other people, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on TikTok and on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week for John Wick Chapter 3. So, peace.